Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome to this video in which we will discuss Python objects and basic data structure. So in this video, we will cover the basic data types used in Python. What are these? Well, these are the basic building blocks when constructing a larger piece of code. Let's quickly discuss all of the possible data types, and then we will have a separate video on each one of them in which we will go into more details about each one. If you don't remember these, just don't worry, don't try to memorize each one of them, because we will have a separate video in which you will understand a lot more about these data types in future. So let's get started by quickly going over all of the data types. So right in front of you, you can see a table in which the first column is name, the second is type, and the third is description. So the description is just the explanation for each data structure, and the type, in the type column, we have with what the Python recognizes this specific data structure. So suppose for integer, like we know in real life that these are integer numbers. But the Python understand it by int, and we know that it's floating point number in real life, but Python knows it by float, and we know that something is a string in real life, but Python knows that by str. So the type column is for Python, the names of data structure are for us, and the description as well. So let's go through each one separately, what they are and how they work in Python. So let's first look at what integers are. Well, integers are whole numbers such as 3, 300, 200. These are whole numbers which are used in our daily life. Like suppose if we sell out three products, or 300 products, or 200 products, like we can never say that we have sold 3.5 items. It can never happen. So integer numbers are used for storing that kind of data. Then we have floating point numbers. The floating point number are the numbers having a decimal point. Suppose we have weight of the person, so that could be either 2 kg or 2.1 kg or 2.3 kg or 4 kg or something like that. So we use for that kind of operations, or for the currencies, or for a lot of different things, we use the floating point numbers. And then we have strings. Strings are order sequence of characters that comes after one another and starts and end with either double quotes or single quotes. So we here in the example we have hello started and ended with double quotes. Then we have Sammy, which is a name, started with a single quote and ended with a single quote. Then we have 2000, although it is a number, but it is started with a single quote and then ended with a single quote. So this is indeed a string. So string can store anything. That can be either numbers, names, characters, letters, whatever you can think of. Then we have list. List are order sequence of objects that comes after one another and separated, and each element of the list is separated with a comma. So in order to make the list understand where to start the next character, where to start the next element from, that is done by a comma. Like in list, and in list we can store anything. Like in one list you can either store integer, strings, floating point number all together. So previously when we were working with strings and floating point numbers and integer numbers, in that you can just store one data structure, but here in list you can combine everything together. But the only problem with list is that they are in ordered sequence of objects. Like you cannot give the index a specific name. So for that purpose we use dictionaries. And the difference between a list and a dictionary is that a list is an ordered sequence of objects, while a dictionary is unordered key value pairs. So you can change the name of the key as well as change the value of it. So how can you use the list? Well, you can just start it with square brackets and then add each element in it and separate them with a comma. Well, in the dictionaries the situation is a little different. So the dictionary starts with a curly braces, then we have the name of the key, and then a colon, and then the name of the the value itself. So suppose an example could be, if we are willing to store name of something, and age and address of. So in the key, we'll write name and then the name of the person in the values part, and then age in the key and then the age itself in the value part. So this is a little example of the dictionary. So then we have tuples, and tuples is ordered immutable sequence of objects. And the difference between the list and tuple is, although both are ordered sequence of objects, but in the tuples we do have immutable sequence. We will discuss this immutable sequence in our later video in great detail, but right now just understand that the difference between a tuple and a list is that list starts with the square brackets while the tuple start with round brackets, and both can store integers, strings, and every kind of data structure. So in the last we have sets. These are unordered collection of unique objects. These are unordered collection of unique objects. It starts with round brackets and is similar to the dictionary, but you cannot change the name of the key in it. So that's the difference between dictionary and a set. So then in the last we do have Boolean, which is used for storing the logical value indication that can either be true or false, 0 or 1. So this is pretty much it for the data structures that are used in Python. You can also create some of your custom, you can also define some of your custom, but we'll get into that topic later on. So right now, just understand what an integer is, floating point number is, string is. So if you understand that, you don't need to memorize them. In the next video, we'll get into each one separately, and we'll try to understand everything in great detail. So have a pleasant day. Bye for now. Stay cheeky breaky. And till next time, enjoy hacking. Peace out.